I don't know who needs to hear this, but no, black people are not the original indigenous people of the stolen United States.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Raka Kwadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere kin. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Raka Kwadash. All praises and glory is due. And that's really all we need to get from that video. And this is the video that was a video that was done by the elder Manatazagba a few days ago. Hebrew Israelites versus bugouts, hashtag unbelievers, right? And it's basically showing you these different bugouts, these different scoffers and unbelievers speaking on how they do not believe in the truth, right? They do not believe that you so-called Negroes, so-called blacks, Hispanics and Native American Indians, right? So-called Negroes, Latinos and Native American Indians, once again, so-called, because that is not your true identity, okay? That they do not believe that the so-called Negroes, Latinos and Native American Indians are the true Israelites of the scriptures. And they will deflect and say, oh well, we don't believe in that whole tep logic, trying to lump in this truth with all the other forms of black unconsciousness that's out there, right? Whether it's your 5%ers, your Moors, the Nation of Islam, and all these other Israelite all these other ideologies that all these bugouts and scoffers make. And rather they would say, oh well, we're not Israelites, right? We are blacks, right? We're not Israelites who are African Americans. We're not Israelites who are Africans, which are, once again, bywords and proverbs, okay? But mainly bywords that were set up by Esau Edom in order to basically keep our people from our true identity, our true nationality. So let's go and get some precepts, okay? Because that's really all that matters here. It's not even anything that these people have to say, because there's nothing that these people have, that these scoffers and these buggers have to say that even really matter. But rather, what is important is, hold on, let me get this right. What is important is what the scriptures say, okay? So let's get this. So this is the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. Right. And this is also a part of the curses, which is why right now you see our people cleaving onto those bywords, right? So now Jake wants to be, Israelites want to be black, they want to be African American, they want to be African, they want to be all these other identities and all these other ideologies outside of being an Israelite. You can't be black because black is a color and not an actual identity. There is no nation of black, and we keep on telling our people this, but Jake continues to not want to listen. What is, because even if you want to go into that, right, what qualifies you to be a so-called black person, what qualifies you to be a so-called African American, and you'll find out that there is no qualifier for these things, because these scoffers, right, these buggers, they'll come out and talk about how, oh, we as Hebrew Israelites, we believe in the white man's religion, we believe in, of course they'll be saying that the scriptures is the white man's book, the Bible and all that is in it, right, is the white man's religion, which of course shows you once again they have no understanding, because this is not the white man's religion. This is our culture, right, our true heritage, our true nationality that we believe in and that we are returning to. But they will make it seem as though, and really it's all just projection, because the identity of being black right, that came from Esau, the identity of being African American that was given to you by Esau, even the identity of being African was also given to you by Esau via Scipio Africanus, right? Scipio Africanus, and the continent of Africa that was later named by, or rather named because of him when he fought Hannibal Barca, which was an Israelite, by the way, in the Punic Wars. But of course, most of these scoffers don't even actually know that. You don't know your actual history. You don't know about the anti-miscegenation and the invention of the white race in Virginia, like what in the late in the in the mid 17th century. You don't know about that at that same time the black race was also invented as well, not as an identity for you to be proud of, but rather a byword and a proverb to classify you Israelites as, in order for Esau, Edom, to further oppress you, right? So now you have the ideology of the whites versus blacks, right? So now Esau is now the whites, meaning them, at the top, right? Over you as the oppressor, and you are now the blacks as the oppressed. And of course, all the other little things that come involved with that, in also as well being less than human, right? This is what you Israelites are proud of. You are proud of these identities that make you a no people, okay? Make you two-thirds, the three-fifths of a man, yeah. Make you two-thirds, three-fifths of a man, you understand? And that is what our people are cleaving onto, rather than their true identity, rather than their true nationality. And the saying of Jeremiah becomes true in this. Jeremiah 2 verse 11. Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. And you have the Hebrew Israelites on the highways and byways doing the sit-down videos, but mainly on the highways and byways, which shows you that the camps that we are doing are still very much effective. Because hey, if we are sitting in, if we are only doing the sit-downs, sitting around and posting videos on YouTube, you think these scoffers would be out here in the way, in the numbers that they are? Is because they see the Hebrew Israelites, right? They see the men of the Lord, right? They see the other camps on the highways and byways doing the breakdowns, calling, proclaiming our true nationality and our true heritage, right? And cussing out Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, as the devil that he is. That is why these jakes are out here scoffing and trying to derail the bringing out, right? Trying to derail the ministry and the prophesying of this truth, or basically just prophesying or prophesying, okay? Because they see the men of the Lord on the highways and byways, they see Jake out here proclaiming the truth, right? Bringing out the truth about who we are, on the earth. And hey, these bug outs are basically doing exactly what they were set up to do, right? To scoff against that. So yeah, they have changed their true heritage, their true nationality of being Israelites, for that which does not profit. What has been black gotten you? What has it achieved for you? What has been African American, and all these other bywords and all these other proverbs that you people heap onto yourselves, and all it does is really it makes you a no people, because now you are a people without an identity, a people without a nationality, okay? Because there is no profit to being any of these things, but Jake still wants to cleave onto it like there is some value to it, rather than cleaving onto the truth of the Most High. So now, continuing on. Jeremiah 2 verse 12. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith Yahweh. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a servant? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? And once again, he's still asking the same question, right? You jigs out there, you two third jigs have given up your true heritage and your true nationality, which is in the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because you want to be black, because you want to be, hey man, look, there's not really even much need for emphasis on all the other identities that people like to go on. That Jacob wants to be everything under the sun except for an Israelite, right? Because you see all these jakes out there that are into that alternative lifestyle stuff. Nobody has anything to say about them, even within their wickedness, right? More power to you. They are living their truth, right? They are stunning and brave, so on and so forth. But when you see the men of the Lord on the highways and byways professing their true identity, professing their true nationality, that we are not, so-called blacks, okay? We are not so-called African Americans. We're not any of these. We're not so-called Latinos or even the Native American or even so-called Native Americans. That we are the Israelites, which the Bible speaks of. Okay, because ain't no Hebrew Israelites out here trying to be Native Americans. No, right? It's brothers that are Gadites that are professing that they are Israelites. Okay, and it's even the Hebrew Israelites that started making a lot of these dudes that are out here like the Calloway that saying that they are the original Native American Indians that began to make them understand that the Native Americans were Negroes too, right? And of course, that's just one thing that's just another, stumbling block that Jake wants to jump into. Being Native Americans without realizing that the reason why, you so-called Negroes are Native Americans is because you are Israelites, right? That you're not Native Americans just to be Native Americans. You are Native Americans because you are Israelites, because you are scattered into this land and became the native indigenous people so called of this land, but your original land, your original heritage, your original nationality is being Israelites. The same for Jakes that are in the west coast of Africa, or Jakes that got shipped to America by Babylon the Great during the transatlantic slave trade from the west coast of Africa. And this is basic stuff right here. The reason why you Jakes were put in captivity, the reason why you Jakes were shipped all the way to America, Babylon the Great, the reason why you served, slavery via the transatlantic slave trade all those centuries is because you are the Israelites, which the Bible speaks of, okay? And the curses of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai fell upon you, because who else does these curses apply to? There's a reason why, all these scoffers always like to take the emphasis away from the curses, right? Because they understand that, when you bring out the curses and you start reading through it, that you realize that these curses really only apply to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, because we are the only people that went through everything that was written of in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, okay? But you would still rather follow these hapless ideologies of being so-called black and so on and so forth, rather than your true identity. And it shows that so many of our people, right, prefer, the systems that can hold no water, the broken systems, the ideologies that do not benefit you. They prefer that above repenting and returning to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakak Kwadasha, remembering their true heritage and their true nationality, because that is what we as the Hebrew Israelites are set up to do. There's a reason why you see these men on the highways and byways, right? Why you see us doing the sit downs and doing all these videos. It's not just because, it's a nice warm day today, let me go out there and curse the white man a little bit, right? That's, speaking and cussing out Esau, Edom. Man, brothers don't even do that anymore like that, We're not even doing that anymore like that. We have our focus right now in this truth is to edify the elect of the nation of Israel. And even a lot of these other camps, if you start to notice, have also started to cut down on how much they are cussing out Esau, Edom. Right? The focus now is to edify the elect of the nation of Israel. In fact, most Israelite camps aren't even actively, trying to disturb or bother these people that are passing on by. It's always some Christian or some nigger woman or some demon that comes up and tries to, call out the prophets and say, oh, what you are teaching is this, you are preaching hate, oh, you're not actually Christians or children of the Most High and so on and so forth, man. That's not what, that is not what we are out here to do, okay? Well, all these, what we are out here to do, of course, is to call our people back to repentance and to remind them, right? In the land of your captivities, as it is written in the book of Baruch, that you shall remember yourselves, and to for our people to remember their true heritage, their true nationality as the Hebrew Israelites. Jeremiah 6 verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. That's right, man. You believe that you are an African American, you believe that you're an African, you believe you're a Native American, right? You believe that you are, black or so on and so forth. You believe you are a Moor, you believe you are a Muslim, right? And these are all identities that our people have held at one point or the other. Okay, and let's understand something, right? The reason why you have such greatness here in Africa with all these great civilizations, the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, the Ghanaian Empire, the even Egypt as well. The reason why these empires and these kingdoms are so great was because we are the Israelites, okay? So you Jakes are getting it mixed up, you understand? You believe that, oh, these kingdoms were great, you believe that being African, right, being so-called African or being so-called black or whatever other stupid ass ideology you have up there, right, that these kingdoms were great, and I don't really know how I want to say this, but let me just rephrase or reorganize my thoughts, right? What I wanted to say is that you believe that, you being so-called African or so-called black is what made this kingdom great. But in all actuality, what made these empires great is because you are Israelites. Because guess what? You dumbass jakes aren't the only blacks or Africans out here, or even African Americans as well. You also have the Ishmaelites and the Hamites that are also Africans, right? But you see, a lot of these jakes, a lot of you jakes are so ignorant of actual nationality and how that works, that you believe that just because somebody is dark skinned like yourself, or just because somebody has all these negroid features like yourself, that also makes them part of your people. Even though you could come out and say not all skin folk is not all skin folk is skin folk and so on and so forth, but no, all right, because Africans are not the only black people on the earth. You have the Melanesians, you also have the Papua New Guineans, and they, and the, hey man, look, you have the Elamites, and you also have all these other nations as well that used to be so-called dark, that used to be, so-called black as well until they lightened up, right? But that's beside the point, okay? The focus here is on our true identity, right? You Israelites aren't great because you are black and you have melanin, or because you are African or anything other thing like that. You are great, right? Our people, our true nationality is being Israelites, and that is what made Africa great. That's what made America, built up America as well, right? The reason why you are able to build up America is because you are the Israelites. The reason why you are able to build up Egypt as well during our captivity or our time during Egypt is because you are the Israelites. What makes you proud to be so-called black, even though that's not your true identity? What makes you proud to be so-called African American? What makes you proud to be so-called African, even though those are not your true identities, is your Israelite heritage. Because you are Israelites and no other reason. That is why you are able to create and build, all the things, really all the things that you build, because I can't really start going through everything. That's why the scriptures say, let's get that precept. The portion of Jacob, let's get that. So this is the book of Jeremiah 10 verse 16. Salakia, close my this thing letter again. Jeremiah 10 verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Right. So what makes you great, right? I shouldn't say it like that, but but 2/3 of our people still believe that, or still believe in their um still believe in these bywords and proverbs and still identify with them. But those are not your true identities, okay? You are not so-called black. You are not so-called African American. You're not so-called African. You're not a so-called Native American. You're not a so-called Latino. You're not a so-called Latino. Or a so-called Moor or any other of these identities you heap onto yourselves. You are the Israelites which the scriptures speak of. Alright? So with that, I'll end the video right there. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahushai Ba'asham, Raka Kwadash. And through the spirits, I'll be Akiam and you are edified. Shalom.